your guys aren't stumbling into this. They knew what they were going into. They had well, there goes that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm pretty excited about this one. We've got a combat review alongside Vegas from the Azov International Battalion. We're looking at a couple different clips today. Well, one on this channel and the second one on his channel, kind of a two-part series. The first is urban combat in Toretsk. The second is more rural trench clearing in the Crimea Forest. I think you're going to like both of them. It was fascinating for me to be able to ask somebody who's been on operations just like this what exactly was playing out. And some of the more tactical, nuanced questions that, like, to be honest, we just don't get into on my channel. So thank you so much to Vegas for taking the time to walk through this. We'll have the other video, the second part of this, linked in the description below. Be sure to go check out his channel. Give that a watch as well. But with that, let's get to the video. All right, Vegas, let's do it, man. So we got version 1 or round 1, whatever, phase 1. The first video going up right here, and then the second one, kind of a follow-up going on your channel. I'm excited, dude. Should we get into it?
I'm stoked. Let's do it.
All right, so this is in Toretsk, eastern Ukraine. The video came up a few months ago. Do you know if this was relatively recent? Was it an older video?
This one, so from my understanding, this came out right towards the end of winter, kind of coming into summer or into fall, maybe. I mean, into spring, sorry.
Hey, real quick, right out the gate, you saw these dudes. I'm going to go back a little bit. Tossing grenades down into some of these basements. Can you talk about I think this dude just shot a drone out of the sky right here, actually, right? Yeah, that's wild footage. Civilians on the battlefield. Like, they're approaching this like there's zero. It looks like that, like there's zero civilians there. Is that pretty? Do you kind of know that going into some of these areas?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, because there are a lot of villages with civilians around, but especially with a unit like Azov, there's so much pre-mission planning that they know every house, the layout of each house, who's in each house, which house the Russians are in, if there's a civilian, where they're at, up until literally the minute that you're moving into that village. You still have comms with the drone teams, and they're keeping an eye on all that stuff. They even know the difference of if the night before one of the doors in the village was closed and in the morning it's open, that's something that is noticed and brought up to the team.
Jesus. So, I mean, like, of course, nothing's ever 100%, and we make mistakes, and there could be civilians holed up in some of these areas that haven't seen daylight in a long time, but you guys are watching Russian soldiers come and go from some of these areas. It's pretty clear that it's a some degree of strong point.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's occasionally a civilian here.
But there's been, especially areas like this that they've been getting fought over for so long, it's not like civilians got trapped at this point, right? They've had time to, I would think, to get out of there. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's true. And for some of these older Ukrainians, this is like their third time experiencing a Russian invasion. So they're like,
Jesus, man.
This is just another chapter.
Hey, so you're an American, volunteer in Ukraine. We've talked before, and you've talked about how this is your home now. You plan to stay in Ukraine after the war. When you look at this, like, it's hard for me to imagine what this is going to look like after the war. Like, it's completely destroyed. Does that cross your mind? I mean, it's got to be secondary, I imagine, but Jesus, man.
Yeah, it does. It crosses my mind often, actually. I was talking with some people today, and we were talking about just the sheer amount of fiber optic cables that are around now, and it just everywhere. It looks like spider webs, and this is just one of the so many things that is going to take years to remove. The amount of mined areas, just all of it. Yeah, it's going to take an additional so much time and an additional army just to get this territory back into working condition.
Can you tell this guy to stop spinning around? It's making me dizzy.
Yeah, this guy is a savage. And what's interesting about this, I remember this, is there's like 6 people in this frame at any given time, but they're all in different locations pulling security on the front of that bunker.
That dude's got like a ghillie suit looking thing on. Is the camo relatively uniform, or is it? I mean, it looks like that dude's just deciding to wear that compared to some other.
Yeah, a lot of it can come down to what you're most comfortable in, but Azov across the board is multicam standard. But we're seeing more and more of these half ghillies it become more and more popular just because of drones. It's so much harder. We've done side by side comparisons of watching a multicam soldier on a drone feed and then a soldier and a half ghillie. It is so much harder to see. You'd be surprised.
Right. So this clip right here, I'm assuming there's Russian soldiers in this dugout. They keep calling to them. They're not coming out. Do you just end up staying there until you get enough grenades down there or mines or something? Like, is that just like you stop? You've got to overcome this strong point, just blow it up until you like. What's that look like?
Yeah, that's exactly it. This one's interesting because they make verbal contact with the guy in the basement, and he says he's surrendering. He comes up the stairs and lobs a frag out and runs back down. So he burnt his bridge with the boys here, and after that, the guys just frag, and yeah, ideally you throw in a ton of grenades, and then you wait. And you see if you can hear anything, you call out a couple more times, and then eventually a brave soul or two will make their way down there with flashlights and clear it out.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there a portion where you go in after the fact to clear it, or is there any value in that?
Yeah, every time we will head down and clear out the bunker because you never know what you'll end up actually finding down there. Some of these guys have a ton of information on them, radios, other weapons that can be used. There's a lot of valuable stuff on some of these people or what they're keeping in that basement. So yeah, every time, just about, unless you've completely collapsed that bunker on top of the guy, you're pretty much going to go in.
It's another random kind of nasty part of this war is you got to think of how many people are going to be buried underneath that stuff, right? Years to come.
So many. It's awful.
I always think about that. That's one of the things that wait, is this the dude shooting the drone out of the sky?
Yeah.
Through the tree, no big deal.
I was sharing this with that actual clip with some people on one of my videos because one of my last missions, I was with another soldier pastor. We were exfilling on a position, and a drone came meters in front of me. I dumped 2 full mags and missed the entire thing. 60 rounds of 5.56. I couldn't hit it, and this guy hits in 2 shots
through a tree. Yeah,
through a tree.
I feel like it's those videos that make it seem like, well, the obvious answer to drones is you just shoot them out of the sky because, like, all the clips we see, we don't see you mag dumping, missing everything. We see the ones like this. Yeah.
It's true, and it is, as of right now, it's still one of our most effective ways of taking out drones, just shooting it.
What about shotguns? Are you guys carrying more shotguns for that purpose?
You know, there was a surge of shotguns, like every assault team had 1 or 2 shotgunners, but what we realized is it's really specific on the ammunition that you use if it actually will take it out. And that ammunition that you get that actually works is actually really hard to source in large quantities here. They're like dual sabot rounds with like the chain between them, and these rounds are tough to get.
Wait, so like regular birdshot wouldn't do the trick?
It either was too far, the drone was too far for us to hit it effectively, or these drones are able to autocorrect if one of their propellers is starting to go down, or you take off a couple of them. They're much harder to shoot down with a shotgun, at least with birdshot, than you'd think.
Yeah. Dang, man, it seemed like shotguns was going to be this magical solution. You're kind of.
That's what we thought. We did.
So what's the point of the Russians in these positions? Like, if you look at this bunker they're in right here, it doesn't look like there's any sort of overwatch or they're defending some sort of pathway or roadway or anything. Like, what are they doing there?
So and they're doing this as we speak in this same AO. They'll show up in like mechanized convoys, 1, 2, 3 BTRs or BMPs, infantry fighting vehicles. They'll offload like 12 to 16 infantrymen and just try to get people into position here to have some kind of a friendly presence in that area to where they can do this a couple more times, and then they start accumulating more and more people. But of these 12 to 16 people mechanized assaults, 2 or 3 people will survive. They'll hunker down in here. They'll wait for the next mechanized assault. 2 or 3 more will survive, and eventually they'll get a fighting element there.
And maybe then they can advance, or maybe it's enough of a strong point to pull other people up, kind of thing.
Right, exactly. Just all from just assault by numbers.
When it comes to the recording of this footage, is that ever dictated like you are going to have the helmet cam, or is that more a soldier likes to record?
It's either or. There's some people just prefer not to deal with it because it protrudes. It gives you a few extra inches of a profile or a silhouette, and we've seen people get shot in their GoPros. So it's up to you, but for the most part, teams like this, recon teams, sniper teams, assault teams, they're usually given GoPros before mission, given that option to rock it or not.
So that means that there's probably like, you've got guys either in the unit or in the military that are just pouring through this footage, right? Because you and I'll say it this way. I am seeing a bunch of stuff here that it's not registering that it's actually important, but your intel teams are probably pouring through this, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. So we have full-blown teams that'll go through this. They will look for important information, and then we have teams who will, like the media teams, will go through it and scrub it, make sure there's nothing that will give away the identities of these soldiers too much or the location they're working in, etc. In that spot right there, there's an enemy, and he pokes his rifle barrel out of that blanket.
Really? Can we see it in the video?
Yeah, you can. Like a millisecond before. Yeah, you see him. He checks it with his hand.
Oh, boom, right there.
Right there.
Oh,
that's such a good example of how close these engagements are.
Is there any kind of coordinated defense then when you're moving into something like this? It looks completely haphazard. Like you're genuinely throwing grenades in the sides of buildings. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't look like it's coordinated on the Russian behalf at all.
Yeah. Well, so for the Russians, I think they just stumble into a position. They're lucky to be alive. They're in shock, and they start radioing, "Hey, I'm alive." But as far as for our guys, like I said before, with the pre-mission planning, these guys who went into this operation, they knew there was a guy in that shed or around that vicinity. Before you go in, okay, blue door. The blue door, we remember there's a guy. Okay, the house with no roof, we remember there was a guy here. So these guys have a general idea.
Your guys aren't stumbling into this. They knew what they were going into. They had there goes that.
Yeah.
They knew the buildings that they were going to hit in order to go after this, right? That's kind of what you're describing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
They have a general plan of attack, and then you just have to trust that your soldiers are trained enough to adapt to the inevitable surprises that are going to happen during this mission.
That's important context too, though, because the way it's playing out is it feels like a video game. Not to downplay it, but like it seems like there's one guy running around just looking at a door. There's some Russians. I'm going to kill them and move on. It's the video doesn't allow the context of like there's Overwatch elements and they're moving in coordination and everybody knows where everybody is at all times.
Yeah, it's really true, especially with these Azov videos, because at any given time, there's other soldiers covering different sectors of fire. And while these guys are moving through this section of the village, at the same time, there's another team of 2 or 4 on the opposite end working through that side typically.
And would the general mission planning be like a platoon size element? We don't have to get into specific sizes, but you would plan an operation for like a settlement, and that would be kind of the limit of advance. Because you wouldn't then automatically just continue pushing and pushing, right?
Right. Yeah. Typically, especially with the way the Russians are fighting and getting into positions now, the main goal of most operations now are hunting parties. It's to get rid of specifically these 3, these 5, these 7 Russians who we know are in this vicinity. Once they're cleared, cool. We, bag them, tag them, we're out. And then ideally, there's an infantry element that'll come up from a different Ukrainian brigade and fill these positions.
Is that a piano?
Was that me?
It looked like a piano on its side.
Oh, I heard a ping right when we saw that piano on my headphones. I love this video because the dude's wearing like a salmon colored hoodie, and he's just an absolute savage. That guy.
Yeah, he's doing everything. I mean, I guess it's the point of view from this one camera, so they're clearly side by side.
Yeah, exactly. One of these days they're gonna finish scrubbing and release our footage that the international unit has been able to collect through our time on the Zero, and I'm excited to share some of that stuff. Maybe we could come back to this and talk about like, hey, that's actually me doing right there.
Do you wear a GoPro? Do you opt to?
Yeah, I do. But I'm really bad. They only have like 30 to 45-minute lifespan. So you've got to know if you're about to get into a fight, you click it on real quick.
Hit record, man. Hit record. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing else you need to be thinking about. Get the footage.
Right. So, but if you got, 6 people with them on a mission, typically one of them remembers, you'll get some footage.
Is this just underneath some of those buildings, like in a basement or something?
So this is actually, to your point earlier, he's talking to a civilian here. There's an older Ukrainian gentleman that was in this basement.
Ooh.
And they found him. He came out. So when the soldiers were clearing the houses, they usually talk, hey, is anybody here? Is anybody here? Yeah. And this guy spoke up. So they're gonna get this guy out.
Could you imagine being underground during some of that?
Yeah.
As a genuine civilian, right? Like not knowing, can I go up? Should I go up? Should I make noise? Should I stay quiet? That's crazy.
Terrifying. And especially knowing how the Russians have been known to treat some of the civilians, that would just add to the fear.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm excited to see the International Legion footage. It's such an interesting aspect of this war where there's a real benefit to getting that out for people to see, but also, right, of course, like more than ever, people can identify the people, they can identify the locations and all of that stuff. So you have to be so careful, but there's also such an upside to getting it out there.
Right. Exactly. Especially because videos like this get a ton of views and...
We just had 5 million views.
No kidding. I believe it.
Yeah.
It gets so much attention, but now imagine this, but instead of reading subtitles, you just hear a bunch of English speakers yelling at each other, and I think it would appeal to a larger demographic at least, and maybe even get some other people who want to fight over here.
Bro, I can't wait to see that footage and have people say that it's evidence that NATO is fighting in Ukraine. So that's going to be great. Thank you for that in advance.
Yeah, exactly. All the English speakers with NATO weapons.
Exactly. Yeah, these are American soldiers. It's U.S. Special Forces. I can see it already. So super. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, perfect. That's going to wrap up part 1 here. Vegas, we're hopping over to your channel for the next part. It's an even longer clip in more rural fighting, right? In a forest belt.
Yeah, this will be in the Posatkas, the forest belts.
I like it. We'll head over there. The link to that video in the description below. Vegas, thank you so much for taking the time, man.
Thank you, brother. See you there.